The Doran Empire was big, very big. They had hundreds of planets across many star systems. They had been around for thousands of years, taking over weaker planets and using their resources. They were always looking for new worlds to add to their collection. One day, their long-range scanners picked up something interesting, a blue planet called Earth. The Empire's scientists studied Earth for months before reporting back to Supreme Commander Tae-Won. "This planet has abundant water, minerals, and a perfect position for our expansion," said the chief scientist, showing images of Earth's oceans, forests, and cities. Tae-Won looked at the images with cold eyes. He had conquered 30 worlds in his career, and Earth would be number 31. He watched videos of humans going about their daily lives, driving cars, building buildings, arguing in political meetings. "Primitives," he said with a smile. "They still use combustion engines and haven't even colonized their own moon properly. Their technology is at least 200 years behind ours. But they have nuclear weapons," warned his advisor. Tae-Won laughed. "Toys compared to our planetary destroyers. Prepare the ambassador ship. Let's give them the standard offer, the Doran ambassador." Ship entered Earth's atmosphere on a Tuesday morning. It was massive, about the size of a small city, and it hovered over the Atlantic Ocean, visible from both America and Europe. It sent out a signal that overrode all TV and radio broadcasts. Worldwide, the message was simple. "People of Earth, we are the Doran Empire. Your planet has been selected for integration into our realm. You have two options: surrender peacefully and become productive citizens of the Empire, or resist and be conquered. You have 48 hours to decide." The message played in every language, on every channel, on every device. Panic spread across the globe. Stock markets crashed. Religious leaders called for prayer. Military forces went on high alert. An emergency session of the UN Security Council was called immediately. Representatives from every major nation gathered in New York, faces pale with fear. "We can't fight them," said one representative. "You see the size of that ship, and it's probably just one of many. Perhaps we can negotiate better terms," suggested another. "They'll take everything from us either way," said a third. "Our resources, our freedom." While arguments flew back and forth, Admiral Jisoo of the Korean Navy sat quietly. She was not usually invited to these meetings, but had been brought in as a special advisor due to her background in xenobiology and military strategy. Finally, she cleared her throat. The room fell silent. "We have one advantage," she said calmly. "They expect us to either surrender out of fear or fight out of pride. Both reactions are predicted. Both are accounted for in their strategy." She stood up and walked to the center of the room. Throughout human history, when faced with superior forces, those who survived weren't the ones who immediately surrendered or fought hopeless battles. They were the ones who made their enemies underestimate them while preparing in secret. The room was very quiet now. "I propose we send one warning, just one, not begging, not threatening, not negotiating, just a warning that makes them pause and wonder what we might know that they don't." "What kind of warning?" asked the Secretary General, Jisoo. Smiled slightly. "One word: reconsider." At first there were objections. Some wanted to offer immediate surrender to save lives. Others wanted to show strength with threats. But as Jisoo explained her full plan, heads began to nod in agreement. 47 hours after the Doran ultimatum, Earth sent its response. A single word broadcast on the same frequency the Dorans had used: reconsider. On the ambassador ship, the Doran diplomat Hwan-Ki played the message again, puzzled. "Just that? No begging? No threats?" he asked his communications officer. "Nothing." "Else, sir?" Hwan-Ki contacted Supreme Commander Tae-Won, who was leading the main fleet just beyond Mars. "They seem overconfident," Tae-Won said after hearing about Earth's response. "Show them the demonstration videos." Hwan-Ki sent Earth footage of previous Doran conquests. Planets being bombarded from orbit, alien armies surrendering, resources being harvested. The message was clear. This is what happens to those who resist. Meanwhile, all across Earth, something remarkable was happening. Ancient. Enemies were sharing military secrets. Scientists from rival nations were working together. Underground facilities that had been built during the Cold War were being reactivated. Admiral Jisoo coordinated from a bunker deep beneath Seoul. On screens around her, she watched as humanity united like never before. "They think we're primitive because we fight each other," she told her international team. "They don't understand that means we're very, very good at fighting. We just need to direct it outward." Dr. Kang, a brilliant physicist who had secretly been working on quantum shield technology for years, approached her with exciting news. "I've analyzed their ship's energy signature," he said. "Their shields have a fluctuation pattern at exactly 40.3 gigahertz. If we can hit them with precisely timed pulses at that frequency, we might create a cascade failure." Jisoo nodded. "How long to modify our weapons?" "With the whole world's scientists helping. Days, not weeks." As the Doran ambassador waited for Earth's surrender, humanity prepared for the fight of its life. Reconsider wasn't just a message to the Dorans. It was a reminder to humanity itself to reconsider everything they thought impossible when survival was at stake. The Dorans had no idea what was coming. They had conquered hundreds of worlds, but they had never faced Earth before. They had given one warning. Earth had given them one warning back. Soon, they would understand exactly what that warning meant. The Doran ambassador stood in the command center of his ship, watching Earth's response on the view screen. Just one word. "Reconsider." He let out a laugh that echoed through the bridge. "They think a single word will stop us?" he asked his communications officer, who looked equally amused. "Send them the demonstration package. Let them see what happened to the last civilization that tried to resist us." Within minutes, screens across Earth began showing terrifying footage. Cities on distant worlds burning under orbital bombardment. Alien soldiers surrendering in chains. Planets stripped of resources until they resembled barren wastelands. "This is what resistance means," said the message that accompanied the images. "The Doran Empire has conquered 317 worlds. None have successfully resisted. You have 24 hours to surrender unconditionally." The videos sparked panic across Earth. Riots broke out in some cities. Religious groups announced the end times. Many people fled to remote areas hoping to escape what was coming. But deep below Seoul, in a bunker protected by hundreds of meters of rock, Admiral Jisoo watched the footage with a steady gaze. Unlike most humans seeing these horrors for the first time, she had been preparing for this possibility for years. "They're showing us their playbook," she said to the international team of military leaders gathered around her. "Notice the attack patterns. They always target communication centers first, then power, then military installations. They're predictable." On the other side of the bunker, Dr. Kang hadn't slept in 36 hours. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at screens filled with data from the Doran ships. As a quantum physicist, he'd spent his career studying theoretical shield technologies. Now faced with actual alien shields, he was racing to understand them. "There's something here," he said, mostly to himself. He ran another analysis and suddenly sat upright. "Admiral, I found something." Jisoo walked over as Dr. Kang pointed at his screen. "Their shield technology operates on a quantum oscillation pattern. See this frequency spike? It happens exactly every 40.3 seconds. That's their vulnerability. If we hit them with precisely timed energy pulses during that microsecond gap, their shields would fail," Jisoo finished. "Not just fail. Collapse. Completely. It would be like hitting a crystal glass at exactly the right frequency. Total structural failure." Jisoo immediately called the other military leaders over. "How quickly can we modify our weapon systems?" "With conventional approval channels." "Months," said General Song. "We have hours," replied Jisoo. "Forget conventional channels." She pressed a button on her command console. "This is Admiral Jisoo. I am officially activating Protocol Lazarus, authorization code Delta 7 Tango 94. Across the bunker, screens lit up with new information. Maps appeared, showing hidden installations around the world. Weapon, schematics, satellite networks, technology that most of the people in the room hadn't known existed. "What is this?" asked General Song, staring at the screens. After the first alien signals were detected 50 years ago, a secret agreement was made between major powers. If we ever faced an extraterrestrial threat, we would set aside our differences and fight together. Each nation contributed resources and technology to a hidden defense system. We called it Protocol Lazarus, humanity's resurrection plan if the worst happened. The room fell silent as everyone processed this information. "Why weren't we told?" asked a Russian general. "Because humans are terrible at keeping secrets," Jisoo replied frankly. The fewer people who knew, the safer the protocol remained. Only 5 people in each participating government knew the full scope. I wasn't told until 3 years ago when I was appointed to the Oversight Committee. She walked to the center of the room, looking at each person in turn. Protocol Lazarus gave us advanced weapons platforms hidden in orbit, disguised as debris or old satellites. Submarine carriers with stealth technology decades ahead of anything officially acknowledged. Quantum communication systems that can't be intercepted or jammed. And now, thanks to Dr. Kang, we know exactly how to use them. On the main screen, footage showed the Doran fleet advancing through the solar system. They had passed Neptune and were approaching Uranus. Their trajectory showed they would reach Earth within 18 hours. "They expect us to surrender," Jisoo said. "They've seen it hundreds of times before. A show of force, some terrifying videos, and the primitive species gives up without a fight. They're so confident they're not even being careful." She smiled slightly. "That's their mistake." For the next several hours, a coordinated global effort took place unlike anything in human history. Scientists from rival nations shared classified research. Military commanders revealed hidden capabilities. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station secretly adjusted the positions of what appeared to be space junk but were actually weapon platforms. Meanwhile, on the Doran command ship approaching Mars, Supreme Commander Tae-won reviewed the data on Earth. "No official response to our ultimatum yet?" he asked. "No, Commander," replied his second-in-command. "Just increased radio chatter between their military forces. They appear to be moving into defensive positions, but nothing that could threaten us." Tae-won nodded. "Primitive species often fight even when it's hopeless. It makes the conquest more satisfying when they finally surrender." He studied the holographic display of Earth. Such a beautiful world. So much water, so many resources. "The Empire will benefit greatly. Should we prepare the first wave of planetary bombardment?" asked his weapons officer. "No," Tae-won decided. "I want to see their faces when they surrender. Have my personal shuttle prepared. Once we enter Earth orbit, I will accept their surrender myself." The weapons officer looked concerned. "Is that wise, Commander? They might attempt some desperate attack." Tae-won laughed. "With what? Their most advanced weapons couldn't scratch our scout ships, let alone the command vessel. Besides, I've conquered 30 worlds personally. This will be no different." As the Doran fleet approached Mars, they remained completely unaware that their every movement was being tracked by systems they couldn't detect. And on Earth, humanity, prepared to fight for its survival with weapons and technology, kept hidden until this moment of greatest need. The Dorans had given Earth one warning. Earth had given them one warning back. Reconsider. Soon they would understand exactly what that warning meant. The first attack came at dawn. The small research station on Mars never stood a chance. 23 scientists were monitoring the approaching Doran fleet when their screens suddenly went blank. The last transmission from Mars Base Alpha was cut off mid-sentence. "They're firing some kind of..." Then silence. Back on Earth, in the underground command center, Admiral Jisoo watched as the signal from Mars disappeared. She closed her eyes. Briefly, honoring the first human casualties of the war, there was no time for proper mourning, not yet. "They're following standard invasion protocol," she told the room full of military leaders from around the world. "Mars first, then the Moon, then us, just like they've done on hundreds of other worlds." On the main screen, they watched as the Doran Armada split into 3 groups. The largest continued toward Earth. A smaller group headed for the Moon. The smallest stayed behind to ensure nothing remained of the Mars base. "Lunar base, this is Earth Command," Jisoo said into a microphone. "Doran forces approaching your position. Estimated time to contact, 40 minutes. Initiate Protocol Ghost." The commander of the lunar base, Colonel Han, replied with a grim face. "Understood. Protocol Ghost initiated. It's been an honor, Admiral." Everyone in the command center knew what Protocol Ghost meant. The moon base would appear to fight and die, but most personnel had already been secretly evacuated. Only a skeleton crew remained, along with automated systems programmed to give the impression of a larger force. "They're buying us time," Jisoo explained to the others. "The Dorans need to believe this is a conventional defense, that we're fighting with everything we have, using our known technology." As predicted, the Doran ships made quick work of the lunar defenses. Missiles fired from the moon's surface couldn't penetrate the alien shields. One by one, the defensive positions went dark. The few video feeds still working showed brave men and women fighting to the last, using weapons that had no effect on the invaders. "Lunar base has fallen," reported a communications officer, her voice tight with emotion. "Last transmission received and archived." On the main screen, the largest part of the Doran fleet now approached Earth. Hundreds of ships ranging from small fighters to massive cruisers, led by an enormous command vessel. They entered high orbit and took position around the planet. Every screen on Earth lit up with the face of Supreme Commander Taewon. His grey skin and 6 eyes would have seemed alien enough, but it was the cold confidence in his voice that chilled everyone who heard him. "People of Earth, your defenses on Mars and the Moon have been eliminated. Your planet stands defenseless before the might of the Doran Empire. I offer you one final chance to surrender. Kneel and some of you may be permitted to live as servants of the Empire. Resist and none will survive. You have 1 hour to reply." In the command center, General Song punched a wall in frustration. "We lost over 200 people on those outposts, and for what? We couldn't even scratch their ships." Jisoo remained calm. "That's exactly what they needed to see." She turned to address everyone. "For decades, humanity has fought itself, nations against nations. But in secret, we built Protocol Lazarus, a unified defense system unlike anything we've ever acknowledged. Now it's time to reveal it." She pressed a button and a new set of screens lit up. They showed hidden bases around the world opening, underground hangars in the Amazon, underwater facilities off the coast of Japan, mountain fortresses in the Himalayas. From each emerged spacecraft and weapons unlike anything publicly known. "We're not going to respond to their ultimatum," Jisoo said. "Silence will confuse them. Then we launch Operation Broken Mirror." The plan was explained quickly. Earth's visible defenses would launch a disorganized, seemingly desperate attack. Old fighter jets, conventional missiles, nuclear weapons, all designed to fail spectacularly against the Doran shields. "They'll think we're throwing everything we have at them," Jisoo explained. "Their scans will show our military bases emptying. They'll believe we're genuinely desperate." "Won't we lose many pilots in those conventional aircraft?" asked a British general. "No," Jisoo replied. "Those fighters are remotely piloted. The pilots are safe in bunkers, but the Dorans don't know that. They'll see what looks like suicide missions and believe we're at our breaking point." Up in orbit, Taewon watched as Earth's hour deadline passed with no response. No surrender. "Message?" he asked, surprised. "None, Commander," replied his communications officer. "But we're detecting movement. They appear to be launching some kind of counterattack." Taewon laughed. "So they choose to die fighting? Good. It makes for a better story when I report our victory to the Emperor." He watched as Earth's conventional forces rose to meet his fleet. Primitive fighter jets, missiles that couldn't possibly penetrate Doran shields, even a few nuclear weapons that detonated harmlessly against their advanced defenses. "This is pathetic," he said. "They're sending their pilots to certain death, hundreds of them with no hope of success." His strategic officer nodded. "Our scans show they've committed nearly 80% of their known military forces to this attack. They have little left to defend the surface." Taewon made a decision. "Move the command ship to the front. I want to observe this personally before we begin the ground invasion." "Is that wise, Commander?" asked his second-in-command. "Their weapons cannot harm us," Taewon said dismissively. "And I want them to see our flagship as we crush their final resistance. It will break their spirit completely." The massive Doran command ship moved forward, its shields glowing slightly as Earth's weapons bounced off harmlessly. Taewon stood on the bridge, watching the desperate human attack with satisfaction. He didn't know that deep below Earth's surface, Admiral Jisoo was watching his every move. "The command ship has taken the bait," she reported. "They're moving into position." Dr. Kang looked up from his console. The shield frequency calculations are complete. We have a 94% chance of success. Jisoo nodded and picked up a secure communication device. All Lazarus units, this is command. Prepare for Phase 2. Target the command ship. I repeat, all units target the command ship. Around the world, in hidden bunkers and secret bases, the real human defense force prepared to reveal itself. The trap was set. Operation Broken Mirror was about to shatter the Doran Empire's confidence completely. I'll expand this part of your story to about 900 words, while keeping it engaging, human-centric, and in simple English. Let me create an expanded version of Part 5, a new galactic power that flows naturally. The Doran command ship drifted silently in space, its once magnificent hull now scarred with blast marks from Earth's weapons. Smoke curled from damaged sections as Admiral Jisoo's shuttle approached the massive vessel. Her heart pounded in her chest, but her face remained calm. This moment would be remembered in history books for generations to come. As Jisoo stepped onto the command deck of the captured ship, her boots echoed against the metal floor. Doran officers stood with their heads bowed in defeat. At the center of the bridge, Commander Taewon sat in his command chair, his proud posture now broken. "You were warned," Jisoo stated simply, her voice carrying across the silent bridge. Taewon looked up, his eyes reflecting a mixture of anger and disbelief. "How?" he asked. "How did a single planet with primitive technology defeat the might of the Doran Empire?" Jisoo walked closer, stopping just a few feet from him. "Because you made the mistake that every empire eventually makes. You believed your technology made you superior. You forgot that determination and ingenuity are the most powerful weapons in the universe. The news of Earth's victory spread faster than anyone could have imagined. The quantum communication networks that the Dorans had used to maintain their control now carried whispers of hope throughout the galaxy. A small blue planet on the edge of the Orion Arm had done the impossible. On the planet Nexus, the bird-like Avari watched the broadcasts with wide eyes. For 3 centuries they had lived under Doran rule, their wings clipped both literally and figuratively. That night, for the first time in generations, they took to the skies in defiance. In the mining colonies of Tau Ceti, the resilient Krell workers laid down their tools. The Doran overseers, suddenly outnumbered and afraid, retreated to their compounds. By morning, the mines belonged to the Krell. On Earth, the United Nations Assembly Hall buzzed with excitement and apprehension. Representatives from every nation gathered to discuss humanity's new role in galactic politics. "We have to be careful," warned the representative from Kenya. "We've won one battle, but the Doran Empire spans hundreds of star systems. The Chinese delegate stood up. But we have something they don't understand: unity in diversity. Each of our nations brings different strengths. Together, we are stronger than any empire built on fear." 3 weeks after the battle, the first diplomatic ship arrived in Earth's orbit. The Luminar, an ancient species known for their wisdom and neutrality, had come to witness this new power themselves. Ambassador Kell of the Luminar addressed the United Nations with gentle reverence. "For 10,000 years, we have watched civilizations rise and fall. We have seen empires come and go, but never have we seen a species achieve what you have with so little. You humans are something new in this galaxy." More ships followed. The Avari came seeking military alliances. The Krell offered their expertise in mining rare metals. The aquatic Mirians proposed trade agreements. Each visitor brought stories of Doran oppression and newfound hope. Jisoo, now promoted to Fleet Admiral, found herself at the center of Earth's new diplomatic corps. In a former conference room, now converted into a strategy center, she studied the holographic map of known space with her international team. "The Dorans are regrouping at these 3 star systems," she explained, pointing to red clusters on the map. "They've abandoned these outer colonies, leaving millions of subjugated beings suddenly free and without governance." Raj, her tactical officer from India, stroked his beard thoughtfully. "They're consolidating power, preparing for a counterattack. But they're also facing internal rebellion," added Valentina, the Russian strategist. "Our intelligence suggests at least 4 Doran colony worlds have declared independence from the central authority." Jisoo nodded. which is why what we do next matters so much. Earth's leaders debated for days. Some wanted to push the advantage and strike at the heart of the Doran Empire. Others advocated for building defenses and focusing on Earth's protection. In the end, a third option emerged. On the summer solstice, representatives from 27 alien civilizations gathered in the ancient amphitheater at Delphi, Greece. Under the open sky where humans had once pondered their place in the cosmos, Earth now offered a new vision for the galaxy. President Chen of the United Nations addressed the assembled delegates, her voice strong despite her age. "We do not seek to replace one empire with another. Earth will not become what we fought against. Instead, we propose the formation of the Terran Alliance, a coalition of free worlds based on mutual respect and cooperation." The charter was surprisingly simple. Any civilization could join regardless of their technology level or military strength. Members pledged mutual defense and open exchange of knowledge, and at its heart was a principle that made the Dorans and other would-be conquerors take notice. The alliance would warn aggressors only once. As the first signatures were added to the charter, strange weather patterns formed above the amphitheater. The gathering clouds parted to reveal a beam of sunlight illuminating the ancient stone stage, a cosmic coincidence that many would later describe as an omen. Within months, alliance ships, a mixture of Earth vessels and contributed craft from member worlds, began humanitarian missions to former Doran territories. They brought food, medicine, and technical assistance. Where the Dorans had ruled through fear, the alliance offered friendship. On a terraformed moon circling a gas giant, Jisoo watched as human doctors worked alongside Avari healers to treat children suffering from industrial pollution. An old Avari elder approached her, his feathers grey with age. "I never thought I would see this day," he said in his musical language, now translated by the communication device at Jisoo's collar. "We had stories, ancient legends, that spoke of liberators from beyond the stars. We just never imagined they would look like you." Jisoo smiled. "We're not liberators. We're just people who believe that everyone deserves to be free." As she looked up at the stars that night, Jisoo thought about how quickly everything had changed. Humanity had gone from fearing alien invasion to becoming the foundation of a new galactic order. And they had done it not through conquest, but by standing firm and offering a hand in friendship afterward. The Terran Alliance grew stronger each day, united by the simple warning that echoed across the stars: "Never underestimate those who warn you only once."